here's a question no one's ever asked. Do iron golems feel pain?
Ow!
I sure hope not, because these guys have been burned alive in mass quantities to fuel Minecraft worlds for over a decade. 1 million an hour? That's crazy. And it makes sense, because mining for iron is not only boring, but it's terribly inefficient and only gets worse the longer you stay in one area. I desperately need a solution to this problem in my Minecraft world. So today, I'm gonna build an iron farm surrounded by a massive custom forest hidden deep within a magical sanctuary. And yes, it will involve burning them alive, but I'm confident this iron farm has something you have never seen before, and its consequences will impact this world forever. Okay, so the first thing I want to do today is get working on the iron farm. And luckily for me, I already have 2 of the 3 villagers I need to get it built up. You might be a nitwit, but I got a job for you. You see, I have a small rule in my world of no villager breeding, and both of these nitwits are a result of naturally spawned zombie villagers that just happen to be jobless. Now, as for the third guy, I think I have 1 spare farmer alive in this nearby village. Hello? Hello? Hi, anyone out there? Anyone home? Okay, never mind. Yep, he must have died. Sorry. So it's time for plan B, which is just kidnapping, but from a different village. Yeah, I think there's one over here across the mountain range. And technically it is fine because my rule only says no villager breeding. Nothing about kidnapping, but I'll let you guys decide if we want to allow this going forward or if we should just let these guys live in peace. Except for you. Yeah, you're coming with me. I wish the happy gas was actually fast, but you know, this is fine for now. As long as you don't use any rockets, you can still fly villagers just fine with your elytra and some leads. Right now, I'm just building up ENX04's iron farm. All right, let's steal some beds. I don't want to know why these are yellow. It takes less than 1 Minecraft day to build, since it's quite literally designed to be made on your first Minecraft day. Come on, guys, it's work time. And I don't really see a reason to build a different one when it's just me who plays in this world. Now we just need a zombie, and then we'll push you guys into your hole. Okay, there we go. The farm is done. But what if I told you that this iron farm is fake? Okay, you'd probably just call me a liar, because it clearly is a real working iron farm. It's just not what I'm gonna actually be building today. You see, I realized early on in the designing process that I'm gonna need a haste 2 beacon to help me dig a really big hole for the actual main build. So this is just a little temporary thing to kind of work in the background while I get working on other things. Speaking of other things, I think it's time that I tackled the first of 3 big tasks today. That being the forest. In my last video, I went and got myself an elytra purely to help me fly and hop around like a little gremlin dude and build custom trees easier. And while that still holds true, the real reason I did it is because now I have access to shulker boxes. So the first thing I did was go on a little adventure to do some end busting. Unrelated side note, I love doing this thing where instead of using the end gateways like you're supposed to, I just kind of take off flying over the void. It just gets the old heart racing enough to make me feel alive. And there's this really cool point during the 1,000 block journey where the main end island unloads, but the outer ones haven't loaded in yet, and you just kind of get to pretend that you're a little asteroid floating through outer space. I don't know, man, it's kind of cool. I'd highly recommend it until my elytra broke and then I went spiraling down into the void. No, I'm just kidding. Did I scare you though? All right, timer for 1 hour, and let's do this thing. Yeah, let's go. I might as well take the elytra, I guess. And the dragon heads? I mean, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of funny how the normal Minecraft progression system just completely snowballs once you get an elytra. I now have 11 pairs of wings that I will never need to use, on top of all the other end city loot like diamonds, shulker shells, ender chests, and beetroot seeds. And if you think about it, this is kind of how billionaires exist in real life. Like, they use their money, or wings in this case, to give themselves exclusive access to even more money until they have way more riches than any human being should ever have access to. Pretty fun stuff, man, if you ask me. Okay, capitalistic rant aside, I managed to get enough shells for 26 shulker boxes, which should be more than enough to help me work more efficiently. And it also means that I can start working on this forest over here, because right now it doesn't really look like a forest. There's nothing here. Now, building a massive custom forest entirely by hand is a little bit of a daunting task. So to help me out, I've created a patent-pending 7-step process that'll guide me. That's right, 7 steps. Okay, so I've gone through and just removed the extra oak and birch trees, as well as this big pile of acacia trees that I've been farming up. So let's get into step 1, natural features. It's important to understand that forests often have more than just trees, and I want mine to have a central pond with winding water streams streams flowing throughout. And I think it's important to plan out any of these key landscape features ahead of time, because if I just went through building a bunch of trees, it'd be kind of hard to go back through and then actually put in some of these cool things. Okay, so this is going to be the pond. I think the size is pretty good. And if I just go through spam clicking with this here water bottle, we can turn the floor into mud, and then just a little bit of bone meal spammed around, and yeah, we're looking good. Yeah, I like it. Now, before I get carried away, I need to address the allegations. A couple of videos ago, I got a pet axolotl and asked you guys to name him, and not only did I completely forget to do that, but he's currently living in this teeny tiny corner of my enchanting room. So before somebody calls PETA on me, I think I'm gonna move this guy into our new forest that I'm building. Oh yeah, and his name is Cheese. Everyone say hi, Cheese. After that, I got to work on these winding streams branching off from the pond. I used a bunch of pale moss, tough, mossy cobblestone, and even a little bit of the weathered copper to create a rocky, eroded border before going through and bringing in all the water. And once again, I converted the bottom to mud and added in more seagrass. It's looking sick! Right now, the water flow just abruptly stops here, but I have a plan, which you're gonna see later. But not right now, because this train is chugging along to step 2 of the forest construction process, which is asking the very important question of where will this forest go? Crazy, I know. I talked a lot about defining a clear project scope in my last video, and I simply will not stop yapping about this, because how is a guy like me supposed to build a cool forest if he doesn't even know how big the thing is? Where's it gonna go? So I spent a couple of hours smoothing out the terrain and clearing the area to give me a good base to build upon. Normally I feel bad destroying villager houses, but I guess nobody lives here, so it's probably fine. I used to hide from these harsh, unfinished edges that outline my builds, but I'm kind of learning to embrace them. I mean, yeah, it looks a little funky right now, don't get me wrong, but it's an important reminder that this world is something I'm going to be working on for a really long time, and things are never going to be completely finished. And instead of hyperfixating on what I didn't get done, I think it's far more productive to focus on what I can do right now, which is going to be a lot, considering the area I just outlined is pretty dang big. Now, you're probably thinking the forest is actually about done, but if you zoom in really close, we can see that it's missing a very important detail. Bees. Okay, wait, no, the bees are coming in later. What I meant to say was trees. I spent a lot of time thinking about what kind of forest I want this to be, but I keep circling back to these pine and birch trees I built near my farmhouse. Not only do they look pretty cool, but they're also super duper tall, so when I build over 100 of them, I'm gonna feel like a small little guy walking through them. And you know, I think we all deserve to feel like a small little guy sometimes. The issue with building big custom trees is that they are expensive. You gotta have a thick wallet to build these bad boys. Here's the material list for just one of these bad boys. Firstly, we're gonna need leaves. I'm using azalea mostly. I've been sleeping on these things for like 5 years, but they are so great and they are super easy to collect. And to get a nice little treat left behind with all the rooted dirt that they produce. The other cool thing about this setup is that whenever my hoe gets low on durability, I can just pay a visit to my new farmers and trade with them to repair it, and they get me right as rain. They're good guys, those people. No, buddy, no, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, wait, you're actually using the ladder? Okay. Oh my god, you're stuck now. You're stuck. Your head is stuck in the ceiling. What is going on right now? Oh my god. I also need a bunch of birch leaves for the birch trees. Shocking, I know. And for some reason, these things are just a little more awkward to collect. I ended up flying out to a kind of close, but far enough away that I don't really care about it birch forest and just dismantling the entire thing. Remember, kids, deforestation is actually okay as long as it doesn't impact you. Okay, so we have leaves settled now, but there's still more stuff we need to build trees. If you look at a real tree, one of the main differences between them and regular Minecraft ones is that they kind of vary in thickness as they grow taller. Luckily, this is really easy to recreate with things like walls and fences. The next thing that separates a hand-built tree from the regular guys is that they have actual branches. Wild concept. I know, I'm blowing your mind here, but I like using various slabs and fence gates for these. We'll do spruce slabs for the pine trees and pale oak for the birch trees. You see, all of these details are really important because they help you nail in the shape, which is arguably the most crucial part of designing a cool tree, and it's definitely something I'm still working on. For instance, this first tree looks really good from certain angles. Hold on, dude, did I just cook? That looks so good. And then from other angles, it looks like it was squished in a waffle iron, so I don't really know. Because this is my first big forest project, I wanted to keep things pretty simple, so I designed like 8 or 9 different variants, and then my plan was just to simply rotate and reuse them throughout the forest. Gasp, I know, I'm lazy. But I want to show you that building a cool forest isn't actually that difficult if you have have the time and patience. All right, so I just finished the first row of the trees here. They look pretty good, but we're kind of entering the awkward phase of building a forest. Here's a super scientific graph that I made with percentage of trees built on the x-axis and how good it looks on the y-axis. The idea is that with just 1 or 2 trees built in, things look pretty good because you don't really have an idea of like the actual scale yet. But what happens is the more trees you build, the more trees you realize you still have to build. And then things look kind of weird for a while. But just like puberty, the only way out is through. Okay, that was a weird thing to say. I'm gonna build trees now. And despite taking a good 10 hours or so, building up the trees was going pretty well. Trigger warning for the fun police. I used Lightmatica, which made the process far easier, and I also took plenty of breaks to engage in my new favorite game called Tree Parkour, which is exactly what it sounds like. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so good, I just cheated. Okay, and with all the trees installed, this is actually starting to look like a real forest, so that's pretty cool. But it could be better. You see, right now, it looks like some omnipotent jerkface just snapped his fingers, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of trees were generated at the same moment, because they're all the exact same height. Now, I don't know when the last time it was you were in a forest, but that's not how things work. Trees are constantly growing, dying, dropping their seeds, and fighting for sunlight in this ever-continual process of nature. All of that to say, for step 4, we need some smaller trees. Specifically, we need little teeny tiny guys ranging all the way up to the medium fellas. Basically anything that makes this forest seem like we are simply viewing a living ecosystem at a random snapshot of time, as opposed to this stagnant being. Yeah, dude, that's looking sick. Just that one little detail is making things look way more dense and realistic. Now, if you'll do me a favor and ignore the gigantic circle in the center, more on that later, I promise, I'm gonna move on to step 5, which is just simply installing a nice little pathway. I am obsessed with winding trails in nature, especially the ones where it really feels like you're just following the natural shape and contour of the forest, almost as if nature itself defined the pathway and us humans were just following it. And I decided to keep it really simple and just use the normal Minecraft path blocks for this. I've been making a lot of custom pathways with coarse dirt and such, but I wanted to keep this pretty bare bones. I was even a good boy and filled in all those pesky little 1 pixel gaps that happen when you make these things. So subscribe if you like really high effort content like that. It's so stupid. I also added in some other small human elements to the forest, like extending this fenceway along its edge, and even building a small little bridge to span over the river that I built. It's just these little details, but they go such a long way. And finally, for step 6, we need to talk about foliage, in particular, grass. I have recently fallen in love with using this stuff to add texture and ambience to areas, so much so that I built an entire farm for it inside this mountain here. Normally, when you bone meal grass blocks, flowers can grow in as well, which are a little annoying to deal with, but in certain biomes, like the mountain here, only grass grows in, which is really, it's not that cool, but it's useful, it's useful. My only issue is that right now, this farm is semi-automatic, which is fine for getting like a few stacks here or there, but I don't know if you saw the forest I just built, but I need like 13 shulker boxes to cover the ground there. Luckily, it's actually really easy to fix this and make it fully automatic. I'll start by simply installing some dispensers below, wiring up some redstone and connecting it to this clock system. Boom, science baby. Firing up the bone meal farm for a bit to fill up the dispensers. And yeah, we are up and running. That was really quick. I also grabbed some firefly bushes and dry grass as well. I already have farms made for these, so they're super easy to collect, and I think they would work really well mixed in with the grass to vary up the texture and add some ambience. Oh yeah, dude, look at this. This is looking so much more alive. I love it here. And just like that, there's only one final step left to completely finish this forest. But in order for it to all make sense, we first need to turn our attention to this middle area, because right now it needs a lot of work. Like a lot of work. Welcome, my friends, to the sanctuary. Well, it will be. Right now, it's just this big, empty, barren wasteland. With the forest finished, we can turn our attention to the actual iron farm. And to do that, I gotta dig a really big hole, and that means I need a beacon. All right, I want a maxed out smite sword since I've been using this sharpness guy, and I think I have, yeah, I have this smite 4 guy I got from end looting. Cool. And if we just do a little more enchanting, let's see, smite 4 sweeping edge. Okay, that's good, yeah. Smite 4, looting 3. I will take that all day. Fire aspect 2, unbreaking. Okay, cool. All right, let's combine these bad boys. Oh my gosh, that's expensive. And snag a mending book from our temple over here. And just like that, we're maxed out, my friends. Now I'll just make a few stacks of rockets, some golden apples because I'm a baby, and we'll head into the nether. The only fortress I know of is really bad for spawn rates, so I think the game plan is to fly around and search for one that has good spawn rates. Crazy revolutionary concept, I know. The first fortress I found looked good, but had trash spawn rates. I also turned off nether fog because I like it when my eyes work. The second fortress also had a few guys to kill, but it was not good. And by this point, I remembered that I have this mini-map mod, and I figured now would be a good time to scope out the land a bit. Ooh, yeah, hang on. There's actually like some hidden ones here that I don't think I would have found before. This is so useful, bro. I ended up finding a fortress tucked away in a soul sand valley, which is really good because other mobs spawn way less frequently. Yo, we got the rib armor trim. Heck yeah, I think that's kind of rare. Yep, there we go. We got one. I ended up having to fly to a 4th fortress before I found one that actually had decent rates. No. Oh, okay, we're good. All right, there's 3. I was now 1 wither fight away from my favorite status effect in all of Minecraft, Haste 2. I would give literally anything for Mojang to give us a haste potion. I would have an IV of that if they would let me. But for now, I'm stuck digging out these really long tunnels in the depths of my world for the wither fight. Apart from being a pretty reliable wither killing method, doing the fight down here serves another purpose. Because once you get into the second phase of the wither fight, it stops flying like crazy and just sort of begins to bore directly towards you in this really calculated manner. And if you can keep it in this state, it turns into a pretty reliable cobbled deep slate farm. All right. We got him. He's dead, folks. And oh my gosh, that was the easiest 12 stacks of deep slate I have ever gotten. So without further ado, commence the Haste 2 mining. You have no idea how excited I am right now. Just kidding. I do not have efficiency 5 apparently. Digging was off to a strong start, but right away I was running into a slight problem: storage. You see, I have a lot of stuff in this world, but I am nowhere near just throw away all of the stone and dirt that I collect levels of rich, and my current storage system in the starter house is not cutting it anymore. Now in my last video, I made this wishing well behind the farmhouse, and I kind of want to turn this into a cool storage room, at least for like the bulk items, you know? Side note, I am clueless when it comes to storage systems, so if you have any ideas, let me know, because I don't know anything. What I do know is that I gotta get back to digging. Alright, now that I've dug a pretty moderately sized hole, I should go ahead and walk you through my game plan here. The main inspiration for this build comes from one of my favorite games ever, Baldur's Gate 3. Very early in Act 1, sunken deep within a forest, lies the Emerald Grove. Home to the Druids, aka the people said to, quote, claim no mastery over nature, but see themselves as an extension of its indomitable will. These holy grounds surround the sacred pool, where magical druidic rituals are performed. It's full of statues, runes, relics, cool rocks, grass, foliage, and being sunken into the earth a little bit adds just a ton of immersion when you're in the area. And I'm gonna build this, or at least I'm gonna try to. Now the first part I want to tackle is the actual ground. This is a nice mix of stones as well as some various dirts and grasses, so the block palette is pretty simple. I'll need some dirt, and coarse dirt, and rooted dirt. I'll also need some moss for various green tones, and I could get away with just using regular stone, but I want to mix in some andesite as well as some dead coral, which does require a little adventure to a coral reef. Quick little side note, I downloaded this mod called Voxy, which lets you have super high render distance but maintain good frames. So now we can see our temple from 2,000 blocks away. It does, however, kind of glitch out with chunks I haven't visited yet though, almost like I'm flying over the void, which is like a really trippy grippy feeling. Is this how flat earthers feel? What is this mushroom island? Hello? Explain this, Minecraft. I am so confused. Well. Get it? Because you guys are standing on top of a well. All right, I finally made it to a coral reef, and I think I need the blue one. Yeah, it's this one. Wait, no, there's new stuff I need. Hang on. Ah, hey, I'm trying to kill you. Yeah, look, there's new guys to ride. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the new guys. Ooh, I get water breathing, and I have this dash maneuver. That's kind of cool. Okay, I spent 5 minutes riding this guy, getting the coral that I need. But what do I do with him now? do I just leave him here? Because I'm not bringing him back home. That's like 3,000 blocks. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm leaving him here. On the way home, I encountered my very first zombie horse as well, which was... That was really easy to kill. Before flying back home over the void and placing down all of the coral to dry out. I just want to say, if you're enjoying this video, you should join my Discord. Hop in, say hi. There's some really nice people there. Very friendly. Okay, so this is a pretty good start. Like, I think we can see the vision of what I'm going for. But the next detail is even cooler because we're going to work on the outer ring. You see, my inspiration has these giant stone pillars surrounding the central area. I believe this is what we call a cromlech, which refers to the large stone structures placed in a circle, oftentimes surrounding things like tombs or burial sites, or just sometimes scattered about. We don't always know what they mean. Now, I'm keeping the block palette here pretty simple, mostly with andesite and stone types, but also a lot of moss and its variants to kind of blend it into the grassy terrain above. The idea here is that these pillars extend out of the ground just far enough where you can like kind of see them from the forest above, just enough so that they generate some curiosity and make you wonder what's in there. Now, these look super cool as is, like I am obsessed with their shape, but you also can't really see them because they're totally washed out by the stone backdrop behind them. And this is where all of that deep slate that I collected during the wither fight is going to come in handy. But not just that, you see, I want to have some pops of color shine through, and what better of a block to use than some glazed terracotta? I took a trip up in the mountains to pay a visit to my terracotta army, which is a really bold statement considering I have yet to trade with these guys one single time. You see, when you level up stonemasons to expert, they sell you 2 random colors of either glazed or regular terracotta, and with all of these guys, I should get some nice variety, hopefully. No. Okay, this guy sells red, that's good. Ooh, okay, we got a yellow, nice. I need this one, and an orange, sick, and some black. Okay, awesome, cool. Okay, I just gotta smelt some of these up, but we are good to go. I also took a moment to collect up some shroom lights because I want the walls to have a subtle glow that really shines through at nighttime. Using the cobbled deep slate as the main block really makes the glazed terracotta behind shine through. I had a lot of fun designing these random shapes in the walls with a bunch of stairs and slabs, even some walls, almost like these runes were etched into the architecture that allow magic to flow through. To be honest, I kind of just looked at the Baldur's Gate spells and tried to recreate some of the shapes. It's very approximate, but the really great part is that now the pillars I made look way cooler. And before I move on, I want to go back to something I made way earlier in the video. If you recall, I made a pair of winding streams up in the forest that just sort of come to a stop, but I think turning them into some waterfalls that lead down into the sanctuary is a really cool idea. It turns out that regular Minecraft waterfalls are just a little bit boring. It's kind of funny when you use these cobwebs and a bunch of white, gray, and light blue glass and panes. It really does look like a fast, rushing, intense waterfall, when in reality it is far more stationary than actual regular water is. That's like one of the best parts about Minecraft. There are like so many ways to use blocks that make them seem alive. I took some very loose inspiration from the big doorways in Baldur's Gate and made my own version with some glazed terracotta and some deep slate slabs and stairs to kind of make it look like some patterns are etched into the design of it. I also added in some warped fences along the top to serve as a border. I want the only way to get down into this place to be through one central staircase. Now it's time to address the most important part of this entire build. magic. Now I realize that's kind of a bold claim, but I have some pretty cool ideas. I mean, I already built the runes kind of etched into the walls below, so I went through and using some of the end rods that I collected while end looting earlier, along with some green glass panes and lightning rods, I went through building up these floating spires extending out of the pillars. I kind of like to imagine that the energy is being channeled from below and then it gets funneled up through these pillars. I also really just love how it looks at nighttime. That's mostly why I did this. Okay, so I'm having a ton of fun working on the build, and I have so many more ideas, but before I work on any more of that, I probably should actually build the iron farm, because after all, that is what this video is about. So my main idea is to build 4 separate small iron farms in each of these 4 quadrants. And then through a series of water streams, I'll funnel the golems into the center into one central kill chamber. The first thing that I want to do is actually start digging out this central area, and I'm gonna spread a bunch of moss with bone meal and then use my hoe to dig out this area. Not because it's faster, it's actually slower, but because I can never seem to have enough moss. Like, I go through this like crazy and I don't even know where it goes. Okay, so the central area is all dug out. It's a pretty deep little hole, but you know, it's cool. It's fine. I think it's fun. So the first thing I need is just a bunch of redstone components. I am totally winging this, but I think it's time that we craft ourselves an official redstone box. I'll just toss a bunch of hoppers, chests, repeaters, comparators, observers, pistons, droppers, all that good stuff in here. Yeah, that should be good for now, hopefully, says Brock, not confidently whatsoever. Naturally, we're gonna need a place to store all of the iron. So let's put down a bunch of chests and then we'll connect up the backside with hoppers. Okay, looking good. And then I can go through and add in a water stream like this. And I'll make sure to write these coordinates down so I don't forget where I'm going. Okay, with that installed, I want to bring our attention back down to the kill chamber. I'll need some hoppers here going into a dropper output system. Pretty simple stuff. And then I'll just dig a really long tunnel underground leading all the way to the coordinates that I just noted. Now I could in theory just add in some water streams now and we would be in business, but I'm kind of a nerd, so I want to add a few little extra bells and whistles. The first thing I want is the way to filter out the poppies this farm drops. This is a really extra step, but I have a really good reason for why I'm doing this, which you'll see later. Okay, so the basic item filter is installed, and now anytime a poppy flows over the hopper, it should get sucked in and then end up in this chest. Yeah, cool. And once again, I'm gonna be an even bigger nerd and install this crafting system, which basically just condenses the iron ingots down into iron blocks. And it's actually really easy to do. Just a few redstone components, some crafters, and boom, that's it, it's done. Now I just connect this output up to another water stream, install an item elevator with some soul sand and a bubble column, and there we go. I think we are good. I added in some fence gates over the central hoppers and then got busy flooding the inner chamber with water streams to push everything into the center. Before proceeding though, I did do a quick test of the system by just tossing in a bunch of iron ingots and poppies, and I'm glad I did because, wait, I don't think it's working. There should be iron in these chests. Yeah, hang on, something's not right here. Oh, the poppies are getting dispensed too quickly, and then they're ending up in our crafting system and clogging everything up. Oh, it's just a nightmare. Luckily, it was actually an easy fix. I just had to build a different item dropper system with a repeater delay, and after a second test, okay, so I have 16 blocks of iron in this chest. I'm gonna throw in 8 more, and we should have, yeah, 24. Perfect. Okay, it works now. The last thing that I need here is, well, an iron farm. And I'm gonna keep things really simple and just build the exact same design I made earlier in the video. Come this way, come this way. Oh, you freaking what the heck? All right, fellas, I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is that you get to move to a new house. The bad news is that it's essentially the same house, just deeper underground. So sorry about that. From there, I got installing a long flowing water stream all the way down into the central kill chamber. All right, lava's in. It's getting real, folks. And just like that, the iron farm is officially done. Now, like I said, I do plan to eventually build 3 more farms in the other quadrants, but considering I don't know if I want to steal more villagers or not, I think we're gonna call 1 farm good for now. Besides, I am way less interested in the efficiency of iron golem farming, but I am way more interested in the ethics of iron golem farming. And no, I'm not kidding. Now, if you recall, this build is heavily inspired from a druid's grove, and the druid are essentially extensions of nature. So naturally, I think they would do their best to honor natural processes. Whoa, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Even the kind of barbaric ones, such as burning iron golems alive to harvest their inner organs and use them to power their Minecraft world, you know? So that's kind of what this sanctuary's greater purpose is. It's not just a pretty way to hide an iron farm, but it's an attempt to honor the sacrifices the iron golems made. The people of this world both understand the utility and importance of renewably farming useful resources like iron, while simultaneously and equally understanding the dark consequences of their actions. And to truly honor this idea and put my money where my mouth is, I want to circle back to that one useless item that iron farms produce, the poppy. Throughout history, poppies have been known to resemble sleep, peace, and death. Ancient Greek and Roman myths use them as offerings to the dead. They've been known to resemble eternal sleep when placed on tombstones, and a classic myth even says that the bright red color signifies a promise of resurrection after death. I think that's pretty beautiful. So for every poppy this farm produces, I'm gonna replant an actual flower in this Minecraft world by hand, and hopefully bringing just a little life back to those iron golems who came before. And that, my friends, is the 7th and final step to finishing this forest finally. Flowers. So I went to a nearby flower forest and began collecting. Now I know technically I would have to replant just poppies to be consistent with the lore, but I'm extending the rule to allow for any flower to be planted just because it's way more fun. Before long, I managed to collect a stack or more of every common flower. I also took a little detour to find a swamp biome because I wanted to get my hands on the infamous blue orchid, which only grows in those marshy wetlands for some reason. Dude, I always forget about these things, but they might be my favorite flower. I don't know if I actually feel that way or if it's just like the rarity that's making me say that, but either way, I am stoked to have these. I also took a slight detour on the way home to grab some bee nests. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that if a tree grows in a meadow biome, it has a 100% chance of having a bee nest there? Pretty cool thing to look out for, just saying. I spent my afternoon going through planting in a bunch of flower patches throughout the forest. Also, for just this video, I'm gonna plant an additional flower for every like and subscriber we gain. So please, take it easy, don't subscribe. No, please do, I actually would really like that if you did. And I gotta say, looking at all these flowers really makes me wanna get the bees installed in the forest. I told you guys the bees were coming, I wasn't kidding. I had a lot of fun taking some inspiration from the bee house in Stardew Valley, so I tried to replicate a small version of that in my Minecraft world. Oh yeah. And not only is this thing absolutely adorable, but it's actually a single, fully auto bee farm that's going to collect honeycomb passively in the background. In fact, I was so obsessed with this concept that I built like 5 or 6 more of these and scattered them throughout the forest, and they are actually my favorite detail. I am obsessed with them. With the forest finally finished, I got to work building up the main staircase that leads down into the sanctuary. I also installed a bunch of grass, foliage, flowers, including a big poppy field around the center, which felt fitting. I even added in these little statues around the edges for no real reason other than I think that they look cool. I really want this place to be hidden away, and right now when you're up in the forest, you can kind of see inside of the area pretty well. So I'm gonna go through now and spam in a bunch of bone meal on this grass to make it 2 blocks tall, at least around the edges. I'm not really a fan of the tall grass usually, I think it looks kind of bad, but in this case, I do think it does a great job of just subtly blocking your line of sight. Not being able to fully see directly in forces you to kind of follow your curiosity and take these natural winding pathways leading down into the staircase, and it's not until you walk all the way down and in that you actually see its true beauty. Oh my god, dude, this is so cool. Now, I absolutely could have just ended the video here, and I almost did, but I feel like this place would benefit from just a little more functionality. I mean, yeah, it looks cool, and it does technically function because it is an iron farm, which is what I claimed it would do. But what about this whole idea of replanting every poppy that this farm produces? Like, how am I gonna count them? Am I really just gonna go down this ladder, open this little chest, and count how many poppies there are for the rest of my life? I mean, I could, but no, I'm not gonna do that. So I just spent my entire weekend becoming obsessed with redstone counting systems. I went into this rabbit hole with one goal in mind: help me count poppies. It's that simple. Every time a poppy comes in, increase the number on the counter by 1. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, going in, I wanted to develop at least a basic understanding of how this is done, so I began binging my way through Matt Batwing's Logical Redstone Reloaded series. I learned the importance of binary systems because a lot of Minecraft redstone components inherently have on or off states, which is the same thing as a 1 or a 0. I learned about truth tables and basic logic gates, which are like a set of rules and simple redstone circuits to make those rules true. For instance, this is an OR gate, meaning if this lever or this lever is turned on, then the light turns on. By Saturday, I was learning about addition and subtraction, eventually making my way to the lesson on binary counting systems, aka the machine that will hopefully count my poppies. My poppies get counted, I will be a happy man. And it was there I learned that most systems suffer from one flaw. They are limited to 8 bits of length, aka 8-digit numbers. That's like 10 million poppies. But in binary, it's not. It's actually equal to 2 to the 8th power, which is 256 poppies. Now, I don't know how many poppies I'm going to collect over the course of this Minecraft world, but it's more than that. So I did what any desperate man looking for answers would do and started browsing YouTube. I was determined to find a machine that could count my poppies. And every video I found was either obscure, outdated, or required me to build an entire PC within Minecraft. And it was then that I found this video from Monko Games, 24-bit Minecraft counter. That sounds crazy. Like, what? Not only is it real, but it's a super simple design and actually can be configured to any length that you need. I'll explain how it works later, but for now, I just need a place to build it. And I think through this doorway is the perfect spot. Alrighty, the room is dug out. It's not exactly a small space, I'm not gonna lie, but that's what Haze 2 is for, am I right, guys? And now we can actually build up the machine, once I collect more redstone, though. Oh my god, this is a massive cave. Holy cow, you just round the corner. Like you're literally in this little crevice. You just round the corner and it's just as far as the eye can see. That's crazy. The actual components I need for this are pretty simple. Just some redstone dust, torches, repeaters, and sticky pistons. I've also been randomly splashing my pig pen with oozing potions to get my slime balls when I need them. And not only does it work surprisingly well, it's kind of a fun little brain break. I don't know. Pigs into slime. It's fun. And the last thing I need here is some glowstone for the actual redstone lamps. And then we can get building. Now, I'll give a demonstration for this whole thing in a second, but first I want to go through and actually build the interior because it's going to be so cool. How much grass do I need? 27 of these things? Frankie, stop! Frankie, stop! Stop! Crates are expensive to make, dude. Oh my gosh, that's not very great. Sorry. I'd like to introduce you all to the farts, aka the Flower Alteration, Recycling, and Transformation System. It took me a week to think of that acronym. If a single one of you complains about it, I swear to God. Here at the Farts, we've learned the ancient ways of converting a poppy into every other flower type in Minecraft. Just don't try it for yourself because it's not real and I just made it up right now. Now I just have to connect this counter up to the poppy filter in the iron farm that I installed earlier. Okay, there we go. And now we can test it. Okay, so I have 35 poppies I just tossed in, and when they enter the machine, it starts doing its thing, which, oh my gosh, this is so satisfying. Look at it work. The system relies on this staircasing tower of repeaters and sticky pistons, and every time it gets the redstone pulse from a poppy going through, it sends this cascade of power along the chain, ultimately altering the state of these blocks and turning these lights on and off. Each of these lights represents a different power of 2, starting with 2 to the 0, which is 1, all the way up to 2 to the 17th power, which is 131,072 poppies. So I guess we do have a limit of how many poppies we can count, but it's really, really big. The system works because binary counting has this unique property where any given digit can only change states if each of the digits before it are true, or in this case, on. So what that means is that this light can only turn on when all 5 of the lights before it turn on. And that's basically what this redstone is designed to do. And that's as far as I'm gonna go explaining things because I am not that smart, I'm just a dude. And then when it's done doing its thing, you simply go through and count the numbers that I have labeled on these signs. Okay, so we have 32 plus 2 plus 1, which last I checked equals 35. And the last thing I wanna do here inside the farts is set up a storage system for all of the flowers in Minecraft, which I think makes sense. Okay, we have the poppy, the dandelion, blue orchid, allium, azure bluettes, all 4 tulips, oxeye daisies, cornflowers, lily of the valley, cactus flower, eye blossoms, pink petals, wildflowers, sunflowers, lilacs, rose bushes, and peonies. And that leaves just 4 remaining flowers. And I gotta have the full set. Come on guys, I had to get the full set. The first 2 of the remaining flowers come from sniffers, which are pretty easy to get. They just require a little adventure to the ocean ruins. Oh, I see one. We got one. Yo, I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at this game. It's actually crazy. First try. Can't teach that. You can't teach that in Minecraft school. Oh, 2. That's 2. That's 2. All right, I will leave you guys here to hatch, and I'll be on my way to get more flowers. Next up is the wither rose, which I should have gathered when I fought the wither earlier if I had half a brain, but alas, I had to take another trip out to the nether fortress for more wither skulls. Ah! That scared the crap out of me. Oh, they have spears? They hooked you guys up with the spear plot? Enchanted spears? Oh my gosh. Okay, there's 1. And number 2. There it is. No, he took it. Give it back. Give it back to me. You look ridiculous. Oh my God, he's gonna lose the fight. Yeah, get him. Get him. Get him, my brother. Back at home, my sniffers had hatched by now, but they were still little babies, so I carried on with my plans and kidnapped a pig and sheep to bring them down into the mines. Wither roses are only obtained by the wither killing other mobs, so unfortunately these guys are gonna be sacrificed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, well, we got the flowers at least, so that's the good news. Okay, wither rose is acquired. The other remaining flower is found all the way out in the outer end islands, the chorus flower. And just to be clear, when I call something a flower, it means that you can search #flower in the creative menu and it'll pop up. Okay, chorus flower is obtained. Awesome. Boop. And after waiting an entire hour for the Sniffy boys to grow up, we finally have our hands on the torch flower and the pitcher pod, meaning our great flower collection is officially complete. Or actually, it's just getting started, I should say, because I got a lot of these to plant going forward. And with that done, I just wanted to add one final element of magic to this place with a large floating spire coming up from the center of the sanctuary. Closing the book on this chapter, but starting a new story, one that will hopefully last a long time. So far, I've collected 551 poppies from my iron farm, but I've planted 1,243 flowers. So I'm actually ahead of schedule, at least until all of you crazy people subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you like this video, go watch another one. They're all good, I promise. Just click on it. You'll like it. You'll like it. You'll like it, I promise.